Okay, 27th of September, and these are some nice bunches of elderberries, and we have two elderberry plants over here that are domestic that have, you know, bigger bunches. This one here is a nice persimmon tree that's been growing good out of a 5-foot tube. And we're going to go to the oak grove here. We'll do the newer areas later with another video. So the first tree here, I cleaned it out once this year, but could have used again. So this is an American beech. And I have one up in the ridge, and let me tell you, they are slow growing trees. I hear once they get established, they're kind of like maybe the Shagbark Hickories and grow really fast. So have a couple. That's a volunteer hackberry, and that's a corkscrew willow that I planted. Over in there you can kind of see a tube. And that is a, excuse me, well, what is that? That's a little red oak. This is a nice white oak. I don't know if this is a Saul's oak or not, but growing really well. Back there is another good white oak. And then here is a nice white oak too that's growing well. This is one of the best Burr English oaks. It has a number of acorns on it this year. So, you know, it's a good size. I really like this tree. You can see how big it is. Sometimes these Burr English oaks aren't quite as full in terms of their leaves, but this is getting better. This is one of the biggest swamp white oaks. You can see again how big this tree is. You know, nice buttress. Over here we have a couple, I think, hybrid oaks. This one here. And this one's been quite a grower. You know, it goes up, you know, it's probably 12 feet tall. It's growing a lot. So back underneath the swamp white oak, and over here is a swamp white oak that struggled through life. You can kind of see how the leaves are yellow on this side and more green on that side. I've had to add iron to it to get it to grow. This one here I think is a Saul's oak or a hybrid oak. That's, you know, a 5-foot tube, you know, so it's like 5, 6, 7 feet, you know, about 4 years old. Can't remember what this tree is, but it's, I don't think it's a swamp white oak based on its leaves. I'm not sure what it is. And this one here too is not a swamp white oak. I'm not sure what that is either. Probably a hybrid. Here's another swamp oak here. Now this one, you know, pretty big trunk. But not as big as the other swamp oaks. This one got rubbed by a buck, you know, years ago, and had to start from scratch, basically. Pretty sure this is a Saul's oak here, which is growing really nice. Now over here we have, you know, a really fast growing Burr English oak. You know, it's this one I've had problems with because it grew so fast that the top tipped over. Doesn't have acorns this year. Whoops. So it did have acorns last year. This one here is a pinnacle oak. You know, nice size. I did buy this as about a 4-foot oak tree from Conetches. This will grow really vertical. Won't spread out a lot. Now here's a swamp white oak. Now this one's in the swamp basically. You know, this is a very low area, but it struggled quite a bit through its life. You know, getting enough moisture one year, I remember. So it's okay. Here's another younger swamp oak. This one has done well. It's a you know, nice tree again in this low area. So here is another. This is a Burr English, and this one has more of the narrow form that English oaks are from. So this is a nice tree, kind of close to this one here. This is an ancestry oak here that I got from Conetches. It's growing. You know, it's a little slow at first, but you know, last few years it's been really growing nice. And it has the characteristics, really dark leaves. This is another Burr English oak that again grew so fast that it tipped over a little bit. I had it tied up to this post, but now it seems to be going vertical. This ancestry oak has, you can see the paper wasp nest. You know, I don't see a lot of activity in there right now, but I don't think it's doing any harm. Now these two are both swamp white oaks. The one on the right had got rubbed and I thought it was dead. So I planted the one on the left, and the one on the right lived. And so this one even has some acorns. Over here we have another Saul's oak, hybrid oak. This one has been growing like crazy. That's a 6-foot tube, I believe. And so that's, you know, like a 10-foot tree, only a few years old. Could be really nice. Here's one of the other swamp white oaks. This one's pretty good size, but not as big. It lived underneath a big walnut tree for the beginning of its life, and so it didn't grow quite as fast. Here is another Burr English oak, and this one is more typical of the English oak in terms of its narrow form. You know, not lush foliage, but I think it's getting better. This one's a cherry tree that I think I'm going to cut down that volunteered. We have an American larch tree here, or Tamarack, that's done really nice. And over here we have a horse chestnut, the biggest horse chestnut in the woods. It's got a lot of horse chestnuts on it that I've been picking off the ground. This is a Shagbark Hickory, and it has really taken off the last 2 years. This last year especially, I had to put that white pole in there because it was tipping over. Here is another hybrid white oak. Can't remember what kind this one is, but this one's growing pretty fast, but it struggled early in life because it was planted in a year of a drought. So this is, I believe, an Amur Macchia. You know, has different types of leaves. Now this one will have flowers, I believe, in the future. And this one here is an interesting tree. This is another Burr English oak, and it is really tall. It must be, let's see, over 20 feet tall. And it's like the English oaks. It is narrow in form, you know. So, and then over here we have a smaller ginkgo, and you know, some room here. I'm going to be clearing out to plant a few more trees. So I believe this is most of the oak grove. Oh yeah, over here there is a Kentucky coffee tree that I planted. That's growing real fast. So there's the Kentucky coffee tree that has some pods on it. So it's a female. You know, it's kind of starting to block out the hunting shack. And this is a, you know, hackberry that just grew on its own. So that's enough for the oak grove.